We are the only creatures who know we are going to die. Not someday in the abstract, but personally. I will end. You will end. And once that realization settles in, something strange begins to happen. We start building things that outlive us. Not casually, almost compulsively. A man writes a book, not just to express himself, but to leave a trace. A woman paints, not just to capture beauty, but to freeze a moment that would otherwise disappear. A poet turns pain into language, and somehow that pain, once unbearable, becomes something others call beautiful. As John Keats once wrote, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever." Forever. Think about that word. The poet dies, the poem doesn't. So what exactly is being created here? Art? Or an argument against death? Here's the thing. We like to think our creations come from inspiration, passion, talent. And they do. But beneath all that, there is something quieter, something more persistent. The awareness that time is limited, and limited things try to extend themselves. This is not just about artists. Look around. A businessman builds an empire, not just for wealth, but for legacy. A scientist spends decades chasing a discovery, not just for curiosity, but to have their name attached to something that remains. Even morality fits into this pattern. People want to be remembered as good, as just, as meaningful, because being forgotten feels like a second death. And then there is the most universal project of all: children. We call it love, and it is love, but it is also continuation. Your face slightly altered, your habits reshaped, your DNA moving forward. A quiet way of saying, I will not completely disappear. You don't need to be a genius to reach for immortality. You just need to be human. Because once you know you will die, standing still becomes unbearable. So you write, you build, you love, you teach, you accumulate. You create stories about yourself, your family, your nation. All of them trying, in different ways, to stretch your existence beyond its natural limit. This is what some thinkers have called Immortality Projects. But the phrase can sound cold, as if it reduces everything to fear. And that's not quite right. Because fear alone does not produce beauty. Pain alone does not create poetry. Something else is happening. Death creates pressure. And under that pressure, humans don't just panic. They transform. A wound becomes a poem. A loss becomes a philosophy. A short life becomes a meaningful one. So maybe the relationship is not as simple as fear creates everything. Maybe it's this. Awareness of death forces us to choose what deserves to outlive us. And that choice shapes civilization. But here's the paradox we rarely face. We call death ugly. We avoid it. We fear it. We build entire systems to forget it. And yet, look at what its shadow has produced. Music that outlives centuries. Ideas that travel across generations. Acts of love that ripple far beyond the moment they were given. Even the desire to be good may come from knowing that time is short and something should remain. So what if death is not just an ending? What if it is also a kind of author? Not writing directly, but forcing every human life to ask the same question. If you cannot stay, what will you leave behind? And more importantly, are you creating something that truly deserves to outlive you? Or just something that helps you forget that you won't?